Hey students, here I am on page 13, I believe. And what we're going to learn how to do here is how to use your calculator to find the equation for the line of best fit. It's really kind of nice because you can just take any amount of data, put it in your calculator, and it will actually average out the slope and the y-intercept for you. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So if you have a calculator, go ahead and get that, a graphing calculator, and you can use it while I do this problem. All right, so I'm going to use a calculator to come up with an equation that relates these two things, the weight and the usual dosage. X is going to be our weight and y is going to be our usual dosage. So here I have my calculator, and the first thing you have to do is you have to enter the data into your calculator. The way you do that is you press the Stat button, and you have to edit the list. To do that, you just press Enter. All right, and this screen comes up, and what L stands for is list. So we have list 1, list 2, list 3. I'm going to put my weight in pounds in list 1, and my usual dosage in list 2. You can go ahead and do that too if you'd like. So I put all the data in list 1 from the weight in pounds, and now I'm going to go over to list 2. And I used my right arrow to get there, and I'm going to put my usual dosage. The first number is 40. And then pressing Enter in between each numbers to go down. You can also use the arrows to go back, and you can use the delete button to delete an entry and re-enter it if you need to. Okay, so all the data is in the calculator in list 1 and list 2. So I'm done with that, and I'm just going to quit. And to quit, you have to press the blue button first, second, and then you'll notice quit right above the mode button, and that brings me to this screen. All right, now to calculate from those lists an equation, so it's going to find a slope and a y-intercept for us. Now you press Stat again, only this time instead of just going into the edit, we're going to arrow over one time to the calc. And if you look down here, I'm going to arrow down. You don't have to actually do this. You can just enter the number 4. But you'll notice that number 4 says linear regression. That's what it's called when the calculator models a line that it thinks is a linear relationship. And you'll notice in here, it actually looks like our equations. We have something times x plus b. And indeed, A stands for the slope, and b is the y-intercept here. So I'm going to enter that on 4. And it's asking me, do I have my X list right of L1, my Y list L2, and so on. If you needed to change those, you could. I don't need to change those because I entered my X values in L1 and my Y values in L2. So I'm just going to go down to calculate and press Enter. And it gave me A is my slope, and it gave me 0.454545. Repeating, and then B is my y-intercept, that's 0. So now I'm going to go back and write down what that equation is. So it said give the equation, use your calculator to find an equation. And remember, my equation is just written like this. And now I'm going to put the slope that the calculator gave me, which was 0.45. And that was repeating, but I can just round it to 0.45, or else I could change it to a fraction if I wanted to, or I can round to 0.46 x. Then I need to add my y-intercept, and the calculator said my y-intercept is 0, which means this is the correct variation. And when you graph it, you might notice it goes through 0, 0. But so that's how you use your calculator to draw a line of best fit. Another thing a calculator can do for us is it can make a graph. And it says here to go ahead and plot that data on this graph, and you could do that by hand if you want. You can figure out what the x and y axis is, but on your calculator, as long as you have that data in there, you can make a graph of it. And to do that, I'm going to clear this, but the place we go to make a graph is we have to press the blue button for a second and then the y equals. And notice that says stat plot. And so it has some different kinds of plots. And what we need to do is turn those plots on. So here on number 1, what we're going to do is just press enter and it's going to go into that plot. First thing we're going to do is press enter on. Then we're going to go down and we have to pick the type we want. And you'll notice we have different types: line graphs, bar graphs. These are box and whisker plots. But the one that we want is the first one on the list, which is a scatter plot. And we just want to make sure that our X list, which stands for our x-axis, is our L1 values, and our Y list is our L2 values. And we can choose the kind of mark we want also. I'm going to change it to a plus. I just kind of like that. Then we have to create a window. There's a really fast way to create a window. We can just go zoom, press the zoom button. You can see that in red right now. And then we're going to go to zoom stat. Okay, since we have some statistics in our list, the calculator can actually look at those and come up with a window for us. So we're going to press enter there, and it makes a nice graph for us. All right. At this point, you could press trace, and you can actually see the values that come from your list. You need to do that. What I'm interested in doing, though, is seeing how well my equation fits these. See how my the calculator's line of best fit. To do that, I'm going to press y equals, and I'm going to put in my equation, which we rounded it to 0.46 x. And remember that it was plus 0, the y-intercept was 0, so we'll just leave it at that. And now I'm going to press graph and see how it matches up with those dots. And notice how it goes almost exactly right through it. So what I'm seeing here is that my graph, my equation, is a really good fit for that data. And if you want to shut that off, then you can either clear this so you can see the graph without it again. All right, so I showed you how to graph, and I showed you how to come up with an equation. We're going to use that next time we meet in class.